Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week of Q&A, brought to you by the Type 1 Family Centre. My name's Adam. I'm the community manager here at the centre. We do these live Q&As every Friday, 12:30 to 1 p.m. So if you are looking for something else to occupy your mind at work or at uni or something on a Friday, by all means, come join us. If you'd like to ask a question, if you'd like to help with answering a question, we would love both of those things. So you can ask questions from within our Facebook groups, so either our parents community or our adults community. Bree will pop the link for those in the comments section if you're watching from our page right now. If at any point during today you go, I know the answer to that question, I've got a helpful tip, by all means, please throw it in the comments as well. Benjamin and Carly and I know a certain amount of stuff, but the group think and capacity of the thousands of people in our community have a hell of a lot more to offer as well. So please chime in with your solutions and answers and helpful tips as well. Just before we introduce the panel, I just want to give you a couple of updates on things happening at the centre this week. So we've got an adults coffee catch-up happening on Sunday morning, this Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. That will be the 24th of March, and we'll be at Health Freak Cafe in Coburn. You can RSVP via the Facebook event. School holiday events are coming up as well, 3 different events. Again, there's Facebook events for all of those, or you can have a look at the details on the website. We've got a picnic happening up in the hills. There's a beading event, and Kids in the Kitchen doing Italian favorites. So if you're looking for things to keep the kids occupied during school holidays, Bree will keep them entertained, I promise you. Also, some fitness stuff. So Carly's has started Pilates classes. They're happening every Friday. You can sign up on the Type 1 Family Centre website. Thursday mornings. Thank you, Carly.
Get it right.
And group fitness
every
classes
Thursday,
as well.
9:30.
And group fitness classes are Mondays, is that right?
Mondays, you got it. Monday evenings in Malaga at Biomechanics. Pilates at the Family Centre every Thursday, 9:30.
That smug tone is the one and only Carly Green. Hello, Carly. How you doing?
Hello, Adam.
That's Carly's and my thing. Just bash the crap out of each other at any opportunity. Benjamin, are you feeling more of a diplomat today, or do I have to prepare my glove for you as well? How you doing?
Oh, I think I'm clearly going to be the rose between two thorns today, so happy to referee the two of you.
Separate us.
Lucky we're in separate rooms.
Yes, that probably is good. Yeah, keep separating us. Our first question today kind of came from a parent that came into the Family Centre talking about the trials and tribulations of navigating Easter. I wasn't kind of there for that one. You were, Benjamin?
It was kind of me.
It was all of us. And let's say how excited we are about an Easter egg that isn't terrible. So you may have seen this on the Facebook posts. I have had 20 Easters now with type 1 diabetes, and I hate it because every time someone runs up to me and says, I've got the most amazing low sugar egg, and I die a little bit inside. And this year we were excited to be introduced to these. These are no-shoe good eggs, which, I don't know, I have tried quite a few no-shoe products. Most of them I hate. So I must say the barrier to try the egg was quite high, 20 years of experience in things that taste like cardboard or worse. And I am excited to say that these eggs are fabulous. We had some parents in this morning for one of our regular catch-ups with the parents, and they had the same reaction, which is get that thing away from me. It's a low sugar chocolate. I don't want anything to do with it. Carly did some beautiful persuasion. And
I was like the little no-shoe bunny walking around like, you have to try them. 1.2 grams of carbs per egg.
I was going to say, like, are you two like paid influencers or something? I feel like this is all of us. It's just turned into a commercialized, sponsored piece on no-shoe.
Well, no-shoe, if you're listening, we welcome bags of those eggs.
So if you haven't tried them, try them. even though they're weird and they're wrapped like a lolly instead of like an Easter egg, which I don't quite understand. They are amazing. And if you want some, get in before I buy out all of Perth's supply.
Or Amy Rush does. She's also a big fan. Yeah. I mean, the lolly thing, like, it's more ergonomic. Like, you sit there and you like to normal Easter eggs, you know, find the little gaps in the foil and unpick them, and like, it's a whole thing. I don't know whether that adds to the experience, but like, there is an ergonomic just to ergonomicness.
You have no respect for tradition, Adam. I'm very disappointed.
That is true. I hate tradition. I'm like, just because we did something doesn't mean we should keep doing it. Hashtag soapbox. I'm putting it down. That's all I will say on that.
Kids, enjoy your Easter eggs wrapped in foil, even if you end up eating some. Don't listen to
Even
Adam.
if Uncle Adam wants to ruin Easter for you. Alrighty. If you've got a question, by all means, throw it in the comments. You'll need to do that from one of our groups, either our parents community or our adults community. 'Tis the season for exercise. Some of you might have seen my post this morning in the adults group. I am training for Run for a Reason. This morning was better than yesterday. Yesterday's run was like just a little bit not particularly, what's the word? I didn't have a good time yesterday, whereas today felt like, okay, there might actually be a light at the end of this tunnel. I might actually be able to do 12Ks. I'm only up to 7 at this point, but I'm getting there. Carly, though, is Queen of Exercise here at the Family Centre, and of course, Queen of Exercise and managing Type 1 at the same time. We thought we might just dive into a little bit of the getting started with exercise, because that's the super hard bit, right? Is it just looks like this massive mountain to climb. Carly, pro tips for those wanting to get into exercising with Type 1?
Yeah, we're going to just touch on a few things. Definitely a topic that I could unpack over an hour or 2 or 3.
Please don't.
Don't mind Adam. He's just recovering from a hypo, gets a bit cranky. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just my hormones, Carly. Go on, blame it on that as well.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so moving along. Exercise. We all know exercise helps us feel good. It's both a mental and physical benefit, and it also helps improve our management of Type 1. But on the other side of that can be a bit of a double-edged sword, and we've all been there, and I've certainly experienced it over the years, where often certain exercises can come with a whole array of challenges that make you feel like, oh, this is just too hard. It'd be much easier if I just don't do it. So I guess for me there's that education piece. So you want to know that different types of exercises are going to give you a different response on your blood glucose levels. So what we know is that your steady state cardio, like you're walking, you're swimming, you're jogging, will predominantly give you a decrease. So you'll gradually go low. So working with your healthcare team or through trial and error, you might need to back off your insulin requirements around that type of exercise, and then always carry fast-acting carbs. When it comes to our anaerobic types of exercise, so that's our weightlifting style classes or our high intensity, usually shorter in length, we often will see a spike in our blood glucose, which, to put it simply, basically the liver just dumps little bits of glucose into the bloodstream due to the adrenaline that pops out when you're doing a hard session. So often you will have to work with perhaps increasing or, trial and error again, managing around that. And then you have your mixed type of things that you'll often see in sports. So your mixed exercises like soccer, basketball, or you might do a little bit of cardio and then a little bit of weightlifting. And that will require a little bit of trial and error over where you're going to spike and where you're perhaps going to trend down. We have a really awesome program that we've developed here.
Just before you go into that, Carly, can I ask, kind of topical on that question,
Sure.
Benjamin, you do karate, right? Is it karate
Correct.
or taekwondo? Karate.
Rowdy.
Does that tend to be like a mixed exercise? Like it's all like you trend up and down or both, or does it work out as one or the other?
You are typically running around like a crazy person, so I just head straight down to the floor.
Right. Okay. Because there's running around, which like steady state cardio running around. And then there's like, can you get to the point with sprinting where you're pushing so hard that you actually trend up? Has anyone experienced that?
I'm not fit enough to sprint that fast, Adam.
Yeah, you and me both.
Sprinting for me absolutely will, give me a spike. So a little trick that I was kind of taught early on is that if you are walking or jogging and you're starting to trend down and you'd like to avoid having that hypo treatment, if you've got enough time for it, would be to stop and do like some jumping lunges or sprint for as hard and as fast as you can for about 10 seconds. And it will give you a little bit of a dump there. So yes, but I guess if you're a trained sprinting athlete, it might be a little bit different because you're used to sprinting and exerting that type of energy.
Interesting.
What
Seeing
I
some
was
questions
going to
come
say,
through on the page. I'm just going to interrupt you again, Carly.
what's new?
More, yeah. Had some questions come through on the page. Can I direct you, please, to our Facebook groups for questions? So either our parents community or our adults community. If you search Type 1 Family Centre adults or Type 1 Family Centre parents, you will engage brain. You will find those groups and you'll find this feed, this stream, and you can ask the questions there. Loving the questions though. Please.
How's that hyper going, Adam?
Yeah.
Do some
Thanks for
lunges.
checking.
It'll fix it.
I was actually
Go
involved
for a
in a
little
study.
sprint.
I was involved in a study for PMH like 15 years ago or something, when it was PMH, not PCH. And they had me like on an exercise bike trying to determine, it was like some PhD student, whether a 30-second sprint would, like what impact that would have on fixing a low blood sugar. So they'd like get me in there, then they'd like take my pump off, hook me up to glucose and insulin, have me trend low, and then have me do a sprint. It wasn't the most fun study I've ever been a part of, I have to say. It was absolute hell.
30-second sprint would leave me on the floor trying to breathe, unable to process my hypo treatment. That's bad.
Yeah.
30 seconds is just not a sprint. You can't maintain a sprint for 30 seconds.
Yeah,
10 seconds feels like a lifetime when you're sprinting.
Yeah. Anyway.
Land this plane, Carly. Bring us back to Earth. You were talking about.
I'm just waiting. Yeah, Adam, may I speak?
You may. Go ahead. I ordain it.
Without getting into too much depth about the different types of exercises at this particular Q&A today, I'd just like to say that the Family Centre's developed a really awesome program, our Type 1 Essentials. We have broken them down and you are able to access the exercise module for $20. That goes into real depth about the different types of exercise and how you can manage that. So I would certainly recommend, if you are looking at trying a new type of exercise, you're running into a few blocks at the moment, jump on, do that course. It's awesome. And then you can kind of trial and error from there with a bit more information in your back pocket. The other thing I was going to chat about was that exercise should never hold you back from your fitness goals. And when you're first starting or restarting, I would recommend starting with something that feels a little less daunting, whether that might be taking a friend along with you, so you're not doing it on your own, or starting with something that's shorter in duration. If you really want to start running or swimming, maybe you start with 15 minutes. You see how that is trending on your blood glucose, and then you slowly build from there. I did it when I started running. I started with, time for me. I did 15 minutes, see how that went, and then I gradually built from there. And also, we have our HBF Run for a Reason coming up. As Adam had mentioned, he is training for the 12 kilometers. I've kind of pushed him into it because he's running a 10K run in April. So if you are a runner, jump on with Adam in the 12Ks. Come and join us at the HBF Run for a Reason. I'll be sitting in the 4K zone, just strolling, enjoying myself.
So explain to me, Carly, how do I end up running the 12K and you, exercise queen, are only doing the 4K? Please explain that to me. I feel like I've been...
It's really simple. It's a family event. I'm bringing my 6-year-old, so I can't drag her through the 12Ks. Is that enough?
I feel like babysitter might be an option there, but I'm not a parent.
That's why we have Adam. So I just want you to encourage you to join the tribe. Benjamin, myself, and Bree will all be in the 4Ks. Adam is unfortunately on his own in the 12Ks. So I would love to see some other members of the tribe join him so he can stop whinging to me about it.
Amen.
19th of May. So still a lot of time to prep if you're looking for a bit of a challenge.
Couple of months to prep. Yep. Cool. Alrighty, let's talk sensor replacements. So, and this is a little bit of a public service announcement because I've seen in our groups recently quite a few people who have said something along the lines of, we've had a heap of failed sensors recently, whether it's, their kid or themselves. And so we, ripped it off, put a new sensor on, and then went to the pharmacy later on, however many months down the track. And the pharmacy says, sorry, you've reached your quota. You can't order anymore, which is obviously devastating and frightening to hear. Then you have to wait until you're due for your next allocation. So this is a public service announcement just to say, the NDSS basically provide us with enough CGMs to last a year, assuming that you are wearing them full time. But if they fail early, you need to go to the manufacturer. So whether that's Medtronic or AMSL if you wear Dexcom, or to Abbott if you wear Freestyle Libre, and get them to replace it if they fail early, because you don't want to be left high and dry. It's annoying. It's really annoying to have to call them up and go through that whole process. However, it's, the cost of subsidized CGM for the rest of the year. There's a couple of, AMSL, for example, actually have an online form you can do now, so you don't even have to call them anymore. So that makes it easier, and you can kind of, bash through it all pretty quick. If you're on Ipsomed with Dexcom, you can call Ipsomed, or you can call AMSL, up to you. Or you can probably fill out the online form for that as well, I would imagine. Same thing actually goes for pumps. So if you're on Omnipod, I should say, because they are disposable. If you have a pump site failure, so an Omnipod that doesn't last its full 3 days, give Insulet a call, and they will send you replacement pods, because you shouldn't have to pay for stuff that doesn't work.
Really important one, because I've been speaking to lots of families who are really worried about the Omnipod when kids are doing rough and tumble activities, going and playing soccer, that kind of thing. Don't worry about it. If it gets knocked off, Insulet will replace it. They know that life is messy and we do lots of fun things, and they want the pod to work for you. So don't hesitate. Give them a call. Get the replacement. Don't get caught out without one.
100%. Yep. Same thing actually for infusion sets. So some of you may have seen my post in the adults community a week or so ago, because I went through on Sunday 4 site changes in one day because they just kept kinking as they went in. Very frustrating.
No.
And I was like, isn't it interesting? You can get, they'll replace a whole CGM, but they don't have the same program for infusion sets. And Benjamin said, no, they totally do. Call them up, complain. You shouldn't have to deal with that. They'll send you new ones. And other members of the community said they've had similar experiences. So by all means, if you have that kind of issue, call them up and get them to send you out new ones.
I just never thought of that, because you've got a box of 12 or something infusion sites in there. I never actually thought about that, because that is something that we pay for. It's not like it's, subsidized like the sensors and things like that. But we actually
they are
for
subsidized. I remember when I first went to pump,
but not fully subsidized.
Yep. Yeah, I think it was something like $50 a week or something 20 years ago when I first went on a pump. But yeah. Anyway,
it's actually a really important segue into a conversation about the cost of diabetes, which has come up a lot in the communities recently. And I think we all know, having lived with type 1, it's expensive. And the last time they actually did a study on the cost of type 1 diabetes, and this is actually quite old now, they estimated it was about $4,600 every year to manage type 1. That's out of pocket, in addition to the cost onto government, which is about $570 million in Australia to look after type 1. And the really scary stat being that If you are managing multiple complications as well, that cost out of pocket can really skyrocket, with estimates up to anywhere up to $17,000 a year. So it is a really expensive disease, as we all know. And that is why I get onto my soapbox that if you have pump site failures, if you have infusion set failures, you have every right to ask for a replacement. It is absolutely expensive enough. And it's something that here at the Family Centre, we are always thinking about: how do we make type 1 a little bit less expensive? How do we make the most out of what we do? And lots of tips that we can share on this one. You will have seen recently that we've been speaking about our new medication review service that's being delivered by the wonderful Mira. And the reason that we put that in place is because we speak to lots of people who are on all kinds of medications, and sometimes there are medications that you don't need or that there are cheaper alternatives for, and that is well worth a conversation. We speak to lots of people who are taking lots of different supplements or might have multiple doctors who are giving them different things, and taking a breath and having a look and seeing if there's some savings that can be made. Obviously, take the medications that you need. We're not suggesting don't do that, but often there is a cheaper alternative, or there are things that we can do in that space. Linking us into making the most of your healthcare professionals. Seeing healthcare professionals can be expensive. And we always talk about building the team of people that you need, and I'm incredibly passionate about that. But it is a good reminder to make sure that you only see the people that you need, and you see them when you need it. So I meet so many people who have said, for example, I've just forked out $350 to see my endocrinologist, and I say, oh, that's amazing. What did you get out of that? Oh, I don't know. I just see them every year and I know I'm supposed to see them. Is not the message that we want to hear. I see people show up to diabetes educators and the first thing they say is, what do you think I should work on? Rather than coming in and saying, here's the problem I've got that I want solved. When you go to your healthcare professional, it's critical to get the most out of it. They're expensive, they're specialists, they're there to help. Big recommendation I would give is go in with a plan, write it down, even if it's
Yeah, go
just
in
the
with a
three
list.
things you want to cover. Those lists are awesome. I know that Amy, one of our diabetes educators, actually gets nerdily excited if you bring her a list, because she knows there's a thing that she can march through. And my other tip on that is, when you get out of the appointment, write down the things that you need to do as a follow-up, because if you're anything like me, your mind is a sieve. And even by the time that you've sat into your car, you can't remember what it is. Book it into the phone, put a reminder in, ask your healthcare professional to run through again, what was it that I needed to do? And my last little tip on healthcare professionals, actually ask them, what would happen if I don't do what you tell me to do? It's a really fun little provocation, because healthcare professionals want to help and they've got lots of ideas. And sometimes they're recommending something that's really expensive and inconvenient and may not actually be worth the effort. But at least it's worth saying, what would happen if I didn't? And getting the answer, so you know what you're working with.
Provocation indeed.
There you go. I'm on my soapbox. What other provocations can I give? Make sure you get the most out of your entitlements. I just met someone the other day who wasn't registered for the NDSS, which blew my mind. They were paying privately out of pocket. We've met so many people who are registered under the wrong registration in the NDSS. So their experience has been, I can't access CGM, for example, because someone at some point flagged them as LADA or type 1.5 or goodness knows what other category. Get with your educator, get it fixed, get access to the things that you need. It's expensive enough. The last thing you want to be doing is paying more than you should. Ask the community, look for all those entitlements, carers cards, healthcare cards, whatever you can get. If you're not sure, put a post out, give us a ring. We'll point you in the right direction. Save yourself some money.
100%.
Off my soapbox. Yep. Adam, what's your best tip? What have you done to save money?
Well, while I was unemployed over COVID, this is kind of like 2020, and there was a time there where I was like, yeah, well, maybe I'll just go off CGM for a while. And this was pre-subsidy as well, so I was like paying full price for it. I happened to have, interesting, you talk about endocrinologists. This was like my endocrinologist this time really paid his bill because he said, if you're on a healthcare card, because you're unemployed and on Centrelink, if you're unemployed, you can get a healthcare card. If you're on a healthcare card, you get free CGM access. This is for adults as well, right? And I was like, great. So I toddled off to the pharmacy and ordered my free CGMs. And then because even after I started working, my healthcare card didn't expire for like 6 months after that. So I got free CGM for another 6 months after I was working. So yeah, make the most of that. Just say, yeah, thank you, Mr. Albanese, and toddle on.
Awesome. Carly, have you got one?
I just sacked everybody in my healthcare team. No, just kidding. Kidding. No. Amy, if you're listening. No, I've kept Amy. She's in my team. I guess for me, I am in a bit of a spot now where as I venture on a new thing, whether it be exercise or diet or travel, I will employ the people in my team or the information that I need at that time, and then I'm off on my own. I'm at a space where I've done so much trial and error over the years, input from so many different professionals, that I kind of am equipped with a lot of what I need to get me through the 12-month period. So I know who's in my team, and I actually draw on our type 1 community a lot. I'm very much a trial and error type 1er. And so I'm chatting to people every day that I'm here. I'm chatting to people through the community. I learn so much from there. So I guess a little plug-in for the power of the type 1 community, because the bulk of what I know and have learned is from my experience speaking to others.
Look at that, something Carly and I agree on, the power of community.
First time for everything.
I've just seen in the comment thread, so this is I guess it's not technically a question, but I'm going to pull this even though it's not in our groups, because this just tugs at my heartstrings. Trina has said, diagnosed 8 months ago, scared of exercising after lows just from walking or gardening. All right, team, what can we do for Trina?
Can I say something to Trina? If you happen to be available at 9:30 on a Thursday morning, one of my favorite things about Pilates is it has minimal impact on your blood glucose levels. Not only that, I've obviously got type 1 myself, so you're in a safe space to work through that if needed. I know for me, when I first started, I had the same fear. I just wanted to walk the dog, and I couldn't get 15 minutes without going low. And so it'd be like eating a banana before I go, and then jelly beans on hand. So I think it's a really delicate time when you're first diagnosed, but I think it's important to keep that movement there. So we should chat.
100%.
Totally.
Feel free to give us a call at the Family Centre, Trina. We can point you in the right direction. Once again, I'd say have a look at that exercise module, because it's one of those things. And literally, I was the one working on this module when I started working here. And I was like, I've had type 1 for 20 years. I know how this works. And I was reading through the content of this module as I was putting it together. Amy had written all the content, and my mind was just blown of just how different things impact blood glucose levels in different ways for exercise. And just when you have that information, all of a sudden you go, oh, that makes sense. And there's strategies, of course, in there for how to deal with all these different kinds of scenarios. So I really encourage you to have a look at the Type 1 Essentials module on exercise as well.
I just want to pick that up, Adam, because I remember when I was diagnosed, some genius telling me type 1 and exercise, it's going to be really hard. And I held on to that for 10 years and thought, it took me so long to even get on top of type 1. I'm not going to mess with it by throwing exercise in if it's messy. And it was the worst message I could have heard. The message I want you to hear is that exercise is not only possible, it is doable by anyone. There is a way. We will get it working. Give us a call, chat to us. There's always a path. Don't let it hold you back.
I might just quickly add in just one little quick tip, which we all know, but it takes a while to learn, is that wait at least 2 hours after having some rapid insulin with food or a snack before you go walking, as your uptake of that insulin will be quite rapid. So try and exercise when you have minimal to no rapid insulin on board. Just a quick little tip to throw out there to begin with.
Cool. Trina has just said, thank you. I'll be making an appointment. And with a thank you emoji. You're most welcome, Trina. All right. That brings us to 1 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us. Next Friday is Good Friday, so we won't be here, but we will see
We'll be eating the no-she eggs.
Yes. But we will see you the week after. No shoe, get in touch for sponsorship. Coffee catch up this Sunday.
Have we mentioned it?
Too many. Coffee catch up this Sunday at Health Freak Cafe. All the details are in the Facebook event. Lovely to see you all. See you next time.
Have a wonderful break over Easter.
Happy Easter, everyone.